Don't mind me, I'm just sitting here eating my most stuffed Oreo while watching some bodies explode. Now, not to be confused with the 2005 Anne Hathaway film, Havoc is a new Netflix action thriller from Gareth Evans that stars Tom Hardy. So does this bring the same brutal excitement that Evans is known for? After a drug deal gone wrong, a bruised detective must fight his way through the criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son, unraveling a deep web of corruption and conspiracy that ensnares the entire city. Okay, so for those who don't know, Gareth Evans is the man behind the hyper-violent thrillers The Raid Redemption, The Raid 2, and Gangs of London. He is a master at crafting highly stylized, savage action that sets a frenetic pace and then continues that intensity until nobody's left standing. Havoc, it's no different. We follow a cop, played by Tom Hardy, who's a homicide detective in this unnamed city. And it looks kind of like Gotham, and is crafted just to be incredibly seedy and dangerous. Now, Hardy's character, Walker, looks like he could be somewhat sketchy. Not fully dirty, but also not by the book or without secrets either. He's partnered with a beat officer, played by Jessie May Lee, who is the straight-laced, by-the-book sort of cop. So it makes for a dysfunctional and odd pairing. Now, when a drug deal goes sideways and some major players end up lifeless, an all-out war begins to brew. So what you have to know about this movie is that the story, it's pretty uninteresting and very thinly crafted. The city's generic, filled with gangsters, drug dealers, and crooked cops, all intent on coming out on top when chaos erupts. Now, the characters, they're underdeveloped too, with just about all of them being complete strangers. And the motives for each set of characters is simple and uncomplicated. And while that makes this sound like a terrible film, really in most situations it actually would be, Evans distracts from the unimpressive story by filling just about every sequence with jaw-dropping, frenzied, hectic, and explosive action. From car chases to foot pursuits and close-quarter battles to shootouts that are like a modern-day OK Corral, every bit of violence is amplified so that it raises the blood pressure and evokes the maximum amount of brutal enjoyment. Now, the film opens with a car chase that is turbulent and immersive. The visuals are sometimes difficult to make out details just thanks to the ultra-high-speed pursuit that we watch occurring, and then along with some erratic gunfire and tons of pedestrian near misses. Now, while we have zero clue as to what the context of what's going on is, it is a wild way to start the movie, letting us know that we are in store for exceptional violence. There are wonderful fight sequences that feature hand-to-hand combat, gun-fu, and haphazard barrages of bullets. One takes place in a club, and once the fight begins, the melee lasts many minutes and showcases harrowing stunt work and fight choreography. And the camera works to also put us right in the middle of the brawl, with some moments that are extended takes as we bounce from clash to clash, switching seamlessly between those who are duking it out. And there are so many wince-inducing moments. Arms being snapped, people being flipped via some type of cartwheel move, and then, of course, brains exiting the skull at rapid speeds just thanks to some high-power projectiles. Now, obviously, with this, you're going to have to suspend just about all disbelief. But one thing that stood out to me as strangely funny is how the guns seemingly never ran out of bullets. There is a moment when Hardy is firing his pistol at such a high rate, he probably got off like 20 rounds in just a few seconds. And then he keeps firing after that. There's no mag change, just pew 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 all over and over again. There's also a moment when Timothy Olyphant's character is shooting it out with some baddies, and he's using a revolver. So despite him firing it just tons before having to reload, the camera then makes a point to focus on him using a speed loader to put in 6 more rounds. This is stupid and unnecessary. I mean, it just made me chuckle at the ridiculousness. I'm here for the extreme gunfights, so don't waste time or attempt to make me believe the characters suddenly run out of bullets. Just make it like they've got cheat mode activated and let the barrage of unlimited rounds fly. Now, there are moments within the storytelling that are meant to be surprises or shocking reveals, like when the mask comes off and dum dum dum, the baddie's shown. Yeah, that mystery, it doesn't really exist. We know everybody's motive the moment we meet each of them. And that's fine to keep the story progressing, but it doesn't make the narrative deep or meaningful. Even when the plot attempts to create some heartfelt moments, whether that be with Hardy's character, the person he's working to rescue, or some powerful people who've experienced tragic losses, none of these are as emotional or captivating as the story believes that they are. There's enough tension simply thanks to all the violence and the inherent risk that creates. So to ask us to be completely invested in a character's outcome, it's a stretch and not something the movie achieved for me. At an hour and 45 minutes, this is longer than it should be, especially when the story attempts to make us care about Hardy's backstory and family life. There's more time spent on these aspects than is really necessary, especially when they don't offer anything fruitful in the long run. And again, because each character is thinly developed, trying to create emotional heft for a sketchy and morally bent protagonist, it isn't effective. So skip the unimportant family stuff and let the character be the lone wolf, ambiguously principled guy that he actually is. Now, despite this film being flimsy in its story depth and originality, I know that Evans can craft riveting plots that are complemented by the intense action. I mean, Gangs of London, at least the first season, it is captivating, tense, and memorable thanks to the background and the development we get on the characters and their motives. And yeah, that is a series that can spend the time on each aspect, but just because a film uses less time doesn't mean it can't be just as compelling. From a critique standpoint, Havoc is a lackluster story that uses hyperviolence to distract from the inadequacy of the plot. The characters are mainly generic and one-dimensional, the storylines are simplistic and without meaning, and the emotional depth just doesn't exist. The one saving grace this has is that it is wildly entertaining and full of brutal excitement that is captured in spectacularly immersive ways, allowing us to feel the kicks, body blows, and concussive attacks that seem to come in rapid succession. If you go into this movie only looking for mindless and explosive action, this is sure to please. If you're looking for anything else, keep looking because this is not it. There's no sex or nudity, tons of profanity, and almost non-stop barbaric violence. I give Havoc 2.5 out of 5 couches. You're probably like, huh? To only 2.5? Yeah, the movie isn't good, but it is highly enjoyable because it knows exactly what it is and it delivers it completely. So are there any extreme action movies that you really love to watch? Fury Road is always a great one, but so are the John Wick films. Let me know what tops your list in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.